Welcome to Scott Fox After 9. I appreciate you checking into this episode. I'm going to give you a heads up right off the bat. This is not going to be a long one, and I'll tell you why. Number one, Canada's playing hockey today. The women's team is playing Finland. The men's team plays their first game at the Olympics. They're taking on Czechia. I know there's a lot of people who are interested in watching that. The other reason is there's not a lot to say. I'm really, really sad about what happened in British Columbia with that school shooting and with the commentary and the narrative around it. To be perfectly honest with you, I find the whole thing just sad, and I'm really not exactly sure how to put into words beyond sad how I'm feeling, but I did find a rare moment of humanity yesterday. For years, we have talked about how divided we are politically in this country, but I do appreciate it when our leaders can come together and do something for the greater good. And I thought the way that the Prime Minister and Pierre Poilievre and the House of Commons in general handled yesterday was extremely appropriate, and it was very well done. So what I want to do first, before I get to a little bit of audio from the RCMP news conference yesterday, I want to take you back to the House of Commons and show you how our leaders came together in a moment of national tragedy and sadness and tried to do something to bring the country together. This is the best of what politics can be under unfortunate circumstances. And, you know, I do point out the bad a lot, and there's a lot of bad. But we've also got to talk about the good. And I thought yesterday was a unifying moment, and I want to play a little bit of it for you. It started yesterday in the House of Commons with the House Leader, Steve McKinnon. Listen to this.
The Honourable Government House Leader.
It's on a point of order, Mr. Speaker. There have been discussions among the parties, and if you seek it, I believe you will find unanimous consent for the following motion, that notwithstanding any standing order or usual practice of the House, A, immediately after the adoption of this motion, the House observe a moment of silence for the tragic events in Tumbler Ridge, British Columbia. B, the Prime Minister, a member of the official opposition, a member of the Bloc Québécois, a member of the New Democratic Party, and the member of the Green Party each be permitted to make a statement. And C, suite aux déclarations, la Chambre...
He's going to go into French there, but basically he's going to ask for unanimous consent to just put off the business of the House for one day. Because you know what? Yesterday was not a day that we needed to talk about politics and we needed to argue about the things that divide us. Yesterday was a day for the country to come together and for our leaders, even though they're opposition of each other, to show a little bit of unity and try and present a united front for the Canadian people. I thought that was very appropriate. And frankly, I'm proud of our leaders for the statements that they made. Let's give credit where credit is due. We'll start off with the Prime Minister and then Pierre Poilievre.
I now recognize the Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, this morning, families in Tumbler Ridge, British Columbia, woke to a different world. Parents, grandparents, brothers, sisters began this day as their first day on earth without someone they loved dearly. What happened has left our nation in shock and all of us in mourning. 9 people killed, more than 25 others injured, some still in hospital fighting for their lives. The investigation is ongoing, and we must allow law enforcement the time and space to do their work accordingly. Mr. Speaker, as this House knows, Tumbler Ridge is a community of some 2,400 people nestled in the foothills of the Rockies. It is one of the youngest towns in the great province of British Columbia. It's carved out of the wilderness in the 1980s, built on the promise of the resource economy and by the determination of its residents. It's a town of miners, teachers, construction workers, families who have built their lives there, people who have always shown up for each other there. When wildfires raged, neighbors helped each other pack up and move out of harm's way. They checked in on seniors and those living alone. They made sure that no one was left behind. When the coal mine shut down, residents supported local businesses. They shared leads for jobs, and they lifted each other up. Mr. Speaker, Tumbler Ridge represents the very best of Canada, resilient, compassionate, and strong. To express my profound gratitude to the first responders, the RCMP officers who entered immediately that school, not knowing what awaited them, to the paramedics and medical staff at the Tumbler Ridge Health Centre, to the teachers and the school staff who acted with extraordinary courage to protect the children in their care. In the darkest of moments, they showed the best of our country. I have spoken with Premier Eby to express my condolences and those of the Government of Canada. The Minister of Public Safety has been coordinating the federal response and is en route to Tumbler Ridge with the Premier and Minister Robertson. The MP, Bob Zimmer, is already there. Our officials are in close contact with their provincial and local counterparts to ensure that the community receives every support that we can provide now and in the weeks and months ahead. Mr. Speaker, we have been here before. École Polytechnique in Montreal, the Islamic Cultural Centre of Quebec City, La Loche, Saskatchewan, Humboldt, Saskatchewan, Potepic, Nova Scotia. Each time, it breaks us open. Each time, Canadians show who we are. Mr. Speaker, in the days ahead, there'll be important questions to ask, difficult conversations to have. We owe that to the victims and their families. But now, it's time for grieving and remembrance. Now is for the people of Tumbler Ridge and the Peace River region, for a community that is enduring the unimaginable. To those families who have lost loved ones, this House mourns with you. To those who are recovering from injuries, this House prays for you. To the students, the teachers, the parents, every resident of Tumbler Ridge, all of Canada stands with you. May the memories of those lost be a blessing. May this community, which has shown its resilience so many times before, once again find the strength to heal. And may this House prove worthy of what Tumbler Ridge has always been, by striving to make Canada a better, kinder, and safer place. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.
I have no critical response of that. I thought that was an appropriate statement from our Prime Minister. It was long, but you're not going to see that whole thing on the news. And that's part of what I do here on Scott Fox After 9. I bring you longer clips. I bring you the context. I bring you the clarity. And I think you should hear from our leaders in their own words. Very good speech there by the Prime Minister. Now, equal time. Let's hear from the Leader of the Opposition. This is Pierre Poilievre.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And thank you, Prime Minister, for your eloquent words. I'm sure words that you never wanted to deliver on the floor of this chamber. As fathers, we both know the feeling of sending our kids to school, hoping that they'll play and perform, laugh and learn, but most of all, come home to us in our loving arms at night. Sure, there's the odd skinned knee or sore belly when they get back, but that's usually the worst of our concerns. Yesterday, as we were tucking our kids in, I got a terrible phone call from Bob Zimmer, the Member of Parliament, who represents Tumbler Ridge, telling me that a shooting had occurred, and though not details were not yet well known, it was going to be bad. And those details have come in. Children who should have been thinking about homework and hockey were instead thrown into terror, grief, and unbearable uncertainty. 9 lives were stolen, 25 injured, 9 families devastated, an entire community in grief. That community is the best of Canada, a community of miners and loggers, hardworking people, hardy, strong, the kind of people who fight their own battles but never hesitate to help a neighbor in need. They're the backbone of this nation. Behind every number is a name, a child, a friend, a teacher, a neighbor, a family member, each with a story. For as the rabbi said, each life is its own universe. As a father, I can only imagine the phone call or visit that brought the news, the panic, the helplessness, the heartache that followed. No parent should ever have to fear that their child will not return home from school. No parent should ever bury their own child. Families who've lost loved ones, there are no words that can comfort or verses that can console. All we have is the words of all members of this House that we are with you, and that in the memories you carry of your loved ones, they will live on in this world even after they have passed into the next one. To the young people who were in that school, I've had indirect accounts shared with me, and I can't even imagine what you witnessed or the horrors that to which you have borne witness. I cannot comfort you or heal those wounds other than to say that the whole nation wraps its arms around you. To the people of Tumbler Ridge, Canadians across the land are thinking of you. The world is thinking of you. We know that in your small, tight-knit community, grief spreads across families, workplaces, churches, and friend groups, and know that all of us stand with you. To the courageous police, paramedics, firefighters, and other first responders, to the staff who risk their lives to save their kids, thank you for your incredible courage. All of us owe you a permanent debt of gratitude. To the pastors, the priests, the clergy, the medical and the mental health professionals whose daunting task now is to bind up the wounds. May God be with you in your work. And on behalf of the official opposition, as I told the Prime Minister moments ago, we will be with you, with the provincial leaders, with local government, and we will do everything we can to support this community through this hardship. We all stand together. There is no partisanship on this day. And that includes the work that we give in support of our emergency first responders who will, of course, be traumatized, but will be carrying out continued efforts on behalf of the community. And to the RCMP, we will support you in your work as you gather up the facts and complete your investigation, and in good time, at the appropriate moment, make all the facts, indeed all the facts, known to Canadians. And we commit ourselves to being present for all those who have lost so much long after the limelight is gone, but while the grief remains. And so those who suffer today, we offer you our prayers, and for all those who do pray, I ask you to share a prayer with the wonderful people of this amazing town. As the great psalm said, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for you are with me, O Lord. Thank you.
Again, I have nothing critical to say. This isn't a time for partisanship, and regardless of how you feel about Pierre Poilievre, or regardless of how you feel about Mark Carney, I think we as a country can at least acknowledge that our leaders did a hell of a job yesterday. It was not about partisanship. It was not about politics. It was not about games. It wasn't about getting a good social media moment. That was the humanity of two dads who are charged with either leading or trying to lead this country who did exactly what we as a nation needed them to do. There's a little bit more, though. Both Prime Minister Carney and Pierre Poilievre spoke outside the House of Commons. I want to play for you both of their remarks. It's short. It's only about 2 minutes long, but here's a little bit more from the Prime Minister.
Today, it's obviously a very difficult day for the nation. This morning, parents, grandparents, sisters, brothers in Tumbler Ridge will wake up without someone they love. The nation mourns with you. Canada stands by you. I want to thank and pass on a number of world leaders who've reached out directly to me in solidarity and compassion. France, United Kingdom, His Majesty himself, Norway, Finland, India, United Arab Emirates, many others. The world is with you. I have spoken to Premier Eby. Minister of Public Safety has been engaged, as have many Canadian officials over the evening. Minister of Public Safety is en route to British Columbia. He and the Premier will be visiting the community. All assistance, obviously, will be offered. We thank the first responders, the teachers, the staff, the residents, for everything that they've done in this terrible situation. On the advice of the clerk of the Poilievre Council and Heritage Canada, I've asked that the flags in the Peace Tower here and across all government buildings be flown at half-mast for the next 7 days. We will get through this, we will learn from this, but right now it's a time to come together, as Canadians always do in these situations, these terrible situations, to support each other, to mourn together, and to grow together.
I've never seen the Prime Minister like that. It's nice to know there's a human side to that head that we see talking on television all the time. That was extremely appropriate. What he said was very, very well done. That was him, I believe, at the beginning of the day before he gave his speech in the House of Commons. And frankly, that's what I want from my Prime Minister on a day like today. The Leader of the Opposition also had great words. 1 minute, this is him outside the House of Commons. Pierre Poilievre.
Thank you very much, everyone. Obviously, we are all devastated by the news of this appalling shooting in Tumbler Ridge. The fact that this took place at a secondary school, it makes it even more tragic. As a father, I can't even imagine the phone calls that parents might have received. I can't imagine the heartache and hell that they're living through at this moment. This is a time for all Canadians to unite, to support the families and the community at large. We'll be in touch with the Prime Minister and the other parties later today to offer all of our support to work together and help the community in any way we can in this terrible time. I encourage all Canadians to pray for the community and pray for the family as we go forward and take the necessary steps to support them. Thank you very much.
I don't recall ever seeing the Prime Minister and the Leader of the Opposition that shook. And there's a lesson to be learned here. If you're feeling it, if this is really grinding on you, if you're a parent now afraid about sending your kid to school, you're not alone. The Leader of the Opposition feels the exact same way. I'm sure the Prime Minister does too, even though he didn't reference that specifically. It's a hard time right now, and it's okay to be sad about that. And I don't want this to necessarily be a sad episode. I just want to show you that in tragedy, it's important that we put politics aside and we support the victims and we think about our own mental health too. This is just absolutely torturous news to hear what happened in British Columbia. And it's nice to know that our leaders can put their differences aside, set aside what divides us, and come together completely united. By the way, the Prime Minister and Pierre Poilievre had a private moment in the House of Commons where they were upset, both of them, but they talked it out. I like that they can do that. Before I wrap up this episode, I'll give you the latest on where this stands. I don't think this needs a lot of commentary from me. It kind of speaks for itself. But if you're one of the ones wondering what the hell happened here, We now know that the police had been looking into the person who had fired those shots. There'd been several calls about this person, mental health related. The guns in the house had been taken away and then returned to the house shortly before this horrible incident happened. The RCMP is going to have to answer some questions about that, and I hope in due time they do when the investigation's done. Here is the RCMP yesterday.
I'll just start with a review of the incident from yesterday. So on February 10th at approximately 1:20 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at Tumbler Ridge, RCMP received a report of an active shooter at Tumbler Ridge Secondary School. A police-initiated public alert, PIPA, was issued as officers responded. Police from Tumbler Ridge RCMP and surrounding detachments responded immediately, with members from the local detachment arriving within 2 minutes of the initial call. Upon arrival, there was active gunfire, and as officers approached the school, rounds were fired in their direction. Officers entered the school to locate the threat. Within minutes, an individual confirmed to be the shooter was located deceased, with what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The suspect has been identified as 18-year-old Jesse Van Rootselaar, who is a resident of Tumbler Ridge. 2 firearms, a long gun and a modified handgun, were recovered by responding officers. Determining the origin of these firearms and what role they played in the shootings remains a significant part of the active and ongoing investigation. Multiple victims were located throughout the school, along with approximately 25 individuals with possible injuries. Once it was determined to be safe, officers evacuated over 100 students and faculty to a local community center, while police continued to assess whether any ongoing threats remained. Those with potential injuries were transported to the local medical clinic for triage and assessment, and 2 victims with significant injuries were transported to hospital via air ambulance. Following a medical assessment of the individuals, no discernible physical injuries were identified for those that remained at scene. I'd like to correct some information that was shared yesterday and to clarify that 9 people in total are deceased as a result of this incident. Initially, it was believed that one of the victims, a female with significant injuries, who was transported from the scene by our members and then transitioned to paramedics, had succumbed to her injuries. Police have since confirmed that is not the case. She is alive and was one of the 2 female victims that were airlifted to hospital. Both of those victims remain in serious condition. The deceased victims from the school include an adult female educator, 3 female students, and 2 male students between the ages of 13 and 17. 2 additional victims, an adult female and a male youth, were located deceased in the local residence. The BC Major Crime Unit has assumed conduct of the investigation and is working to determine the full circumstances surrounding this tragic incident. There's been much speculation within the community regarding the relationship between the shooter and some of the victims. All of that remains part of the active and ongoing investigation. We are not in a position to publicly confirm any specifics at this time. Additional resources have been deployed to Tumbler Ridge to support both the investigation and day-to-day policing operations, which continue with the assistance of our neighboring detachments. BC Emergency Health Services, the Tumbler Ridge Fire Department, the local medical center, the school district, the community center, and many others within the community have provided significant support throughout this response. Anyone in the community who does not need support, who does need support, is asked to go to the Tumbler Ridge Community Center at 340 Front Street. We understand the community has questions, and we understand they want to know the motive behind this tragic incident. We do believe the suspect acted alone, and there are currently no other outstanding suspects. Our investigators remain on scene, actively gathering information to determine the full circumstances of what transpired. This is a deeply distressing incident where 9 individuals have senselessly lost their lives. Our thoughts are with the families, the loved ones, the first responders in the greater Tumbler Ridge community, and all those impacted by this tragic incident. If you have questions, I'm prepared to take them at this time.
Officer Romina Dea from Global News, could you please expand a little bit on the suspect? Was he known to police? Were there any red flags regarding his mental health?
So a suspect is identified as an 18-year-old female by the name of Jessie. We have a history of police attendance at the family residence. Some of those calls were related to mental health issues.
And I think that that's where I'm going to leave it for today. I know that there's a lot of people who are very interested in this. They are angry. They want justice. They want immediate answers. And frankly, I mean, I'm here to tell you that's just not going to happen. Immediate answers are not coming here. There's got to be an investigation. And like I said yesterday, let's let the police do their work. What we're dealing with here is a national tragedy, but on another level for the people of Tumbler Ridge, British Columbia. I looked yesterday. I have, I don't know if this is a good number or not. I have 10 listeners in the Tumbler Ridge area. As a portion of the population, I suppose that's quite a few. So listen, if you're one of those 10 people, I'm thinking about you. I care a lot about you and what you're going through right now. And if there's anything I can do for you, you feel free to reach out to me. I don't know, though, really that there's anything I can say or that anyone else can say. What happened yesterday was an unspeakable tragedy, and there's going to have to be lessons learned from this, but right now it is not the time. So I'm going to leave it at that, everybody. Watch the hockey game. If you've got kids, hold them a little tighter tonight. Tell them you love them. It's a sad day, but we'll get through this. We will. There will be lessons learned. When the investigation's done, we're going to have to talk about how we can prevent stuff like this from ever happening again. But until we have something concrete to work with, just think about the victims. Terrible sadness across the country and around the world. And there can't not be when that many... I mean, I know that there was teachers killed. I know that the shooters' family members, some of them got killed. But in particular, I'm thinking about the students at that school and all of the people who were just innocent victims in this. And we got to think about them right now. Tomorrow is going to be a listener DMs episode. I might have more to say on this topic tomorrow. I can tell you that I am completely inundated with DMs right now because of my announcement the other day that I am going to run. And I'm going to try and get through that entire inbox today if I can, but they're coming in by the hundreds right now. And the support is unbelievable. And in any other circumstance, I would be completely blown away. And I am. But, you know, I'm real bogged down emotionally by what happened out west. And yeah, it's a sad day. I'll see you tomorrow, friends, for a Listener DMs Friday. And tomorrow's actually a really special day for me professionally as well. And I'll talk about that in tomorrow's Scott Fox After 9. Have a great day.